and welcome back to Trojan Sports Now. With me is the head women's golf coach, Randy Keck. So, golf is not a sport a lot of people get into. So how'd you get into golf?
You know, I was very fortunate at a young age. Just about the time I got old enough to start playing, my grandfather retired. And so my granddad played and he loved golf. It was funny, he played until he was 94 years old and he was never any good at golf. But he was at the golf course every day and just happened to drag me along. So that's how I got started with my granddad.
Yeah, my granddad likes to go out and he signed me up for golf classes one day, but it never really stuck with me. So how'd you hear about the head coaching job here?
Well, mainly, you know, golf coaching business is a small circle. Matt Terry, that was the head coach here for a long time, and I are very, very good friends. And when Matt decided to move on and take the job over at Louisiana Tech, he called me and said, "Hey, I think there's going to be a possibility at Troy, and would you be interested in getting back in college coaching?" And I jumped at the opportunity. I was very excited.
So what made you want to be a head coach to begin with?
You know, I'd played golf professionally back through the 90s, had a couple of shoulder injuries, and it was one of those things that the only thing I'd ever want to do was be a professional golf player since I was about 10 or 11 years old. And it's one of those things, after you have injuries, you look up and kind of go, okay, what do I do now? And I didn't want to be a driving range pro. I didn't want to stand on the practice tee all the time. And so, yeah, a friend of mine was an athletic director at a high school, and I had a degree in education, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come coach football and golf?" And so I became a head junior high football coach and head golf coach and just fell in love with coaching. So it's been great.
Yeah, so you just said you played professionally, so I assume you played in high school?
I played, yeah, from the time I was about 2 or 3 years old, I played and competed all the way through junior high and high school and through college and professionally, yes.
So in high school, did you play anything else besides golf?
I did. I actually was a gym rat. I was a basketball guy. All my buddies laughed because I used to sneak into the gym at night. When the janitor was cleaning the gym and doing things, I would sneak in the gym at night and play basketball. And right before my senior year, our head coach called me into a meeting, and I was afraid I was in trouble. And we laughed because I was sitting there in the meeting, and he said, "I'm really tired of you sneaking in the gym at night." I had no idea that he knew, and I'd been doing it for 3 or 4 years. And he said, "Why don't you have a key? And that way you don't have to sneak in. You can come in the front door." He said, "Just don't bring anybody in." So I was a gym rat. I loved playing basketball, and always thought that that's what I wanted to do. But it just so happened that golf was my ticket. So.
So back to Troy Golf, why did you decide to take the head coaching job?
You know, it was really neat for me to watch Coach Terry and Bart build the programs here, and being at another university and watching that develop was really neat for me. I knew that Matt had really worked hard to build the practice facility that Troy Golf has. And so with all of those bits and pieces in place, it was really an exciting job for me. Troy has great weather, for one. It's easy to recruit to good weather for golfers. Everybody wants to play in the sunshine.
Yes.
With such an amazing facility, kind of my thing, and I talked to Bart a lot about this, talked to Matt a lot about it. If you can just get them to visit Troy and see what we have to offer, the close rate's going to be pretty good. So, no, those pieces in place were very exciting for me, and I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, so you just mentioned Coach Barnes, who's now the men's golf coach. Mm-hmm. Did you talk to him about anything else before you took the job?
Yeah, I did. I spent a lot of time on the phone with Bart. I really did. He's done an amazing job with the women's program here. And you know, he bleeds crimson. He Cardinal. Not crimson, Cardinal. He bleeds Cardinal, and you know, he's all about Troy athletics, and I was very impressed with that.
So what are you going to do to maybe help improve the team?
Well, I think we just keep trying to get better every day. In college athletics, it's a continual process of recruiting good players. We've been sending lots of emails about future players, and we're working on younger players right now, and you know, just looking forward to building the program and kind of taking it to the next level a little bit, get a little better players than we've had in the past, and try to, instead of just trying to win on the conference level, we want to try to move it to a national prominence.
All right, and so at the USA Intercollegiate, y'all finished 5th. Can you kind of talk about that tournament a little bit?
Yeah, you know, it was kind of funny. We talked about that the other day a little bit, and it was funny because I'd been on campus about 4 days. My brother joked on the telephone with me. He said, "Do your players even know your name?" And so I took a group of young ladies to a tournament that barely knew who I was. So it was an interesting dynamic, but they dove right in and really played well. I was impressed. I was impressed with a lot of things. I was impressed the way they competed. They handled themselves very professionally. They showed up ready to work, and I appreciated that. And I was very impressed. It was a good trip. I'm never going to be satisfied if we don't win. And that's one thing I want this group to understand. We're never going to be satisfied if we don't win. Moral victories to me are kind of, just a ho-hum. But we expect to win every time out.
Yeah, so you just said you had to get to know them on the road. So what was it like getting to know them traveling?
It's anytime you put yourself in a van with 5 college ladies, it's a very interesting ride. But no, it was fun. They're really fun. I'm a huge music buff. They love music, so we kind of have the common connection. And and it was great. It really was. They really welcomed me with open arms, and we had a good trip. We really did. It was fun.
So what's some of the type of music that y'all like listening to?
We listen to every spectrum. You could all the way from red dirt country to rap. So no, we have a good group. It's a lot of fun.
And now when you were at Tulsa, you had a 98% graduation rate. So how do you get your girls to focus in the classroom when they're not on the golf course?
Well, I think not only is that classroom interest, I think it's just loving being where you are. We make it be like a family. We do a lot of things together as much as the NCAA rules will allow away from golf, and I think that's important. I think retention in your program is important. You don't want kids wanting to transfer. You want them to enjoy where they are, and when somebody mentions them going to another school, you want them to say, "Hey, I love where I am and I love what I'm doing." I think it's a huge accumulation of everything. I think the kids have to do a lot of studying on the road. I used to take a lot of pictures, and it always made me laugh because we would be at an airport, ready to leave for a flight and have books and players scattered everywhere working and studying. And, that's what college athletics is all about now. You have to do a lot of studying on the road. So, yeah.
Now, moving away from golf to get to know you personally, because you are the new golf coach. Where are you from originally?
I grew up in Lindsay, Oklahoma, which is about an hour south of Oklahoma City. It's a very, very small town of about 2,500 people.
And what was it like adjusting moving to Troy?
Well, it's been an interesting, it's been a little bit of an interesting journey for me city-wise. We left Tulsa 3 years ago, moved to Tampa, Florida, and it's the first time I'd ever lived in Tampa or been in Florida. Troy's a little bit more like home for me. Moving out of the big city back to the small town, and I love it, to be honest with you. These are my people.
Now, something I've asked all the new coaches, the South is known to have the best fried food. Do you have a favorite fried food?
It's hard to beat Sister's fried chicken.
Yes, fried chicken's the best. Now, do you have a favorite player on tour right now?
Wow, that's a really good question. Yeah. On men's tour or women's tour?
Both.
My favorite player on the men's tour right now is probably Justin Thomas.
Yeah, he just won the PGA Championship.
He did, and I've really enjoyed watching Justin. I have a friend of mine that actually works with him a little bit. And then my favorite player on the women's side is very simple. My very best friend is married to Stacy Lewis, and so Stacy is always my favorite player.
Yeah, I enjoy watching Justin too. He's really good.
He's impressive.
He is. Now, what's one of your favorite courses that you've maybe been to or played on?
Wow, that's a good question as well. Probably Spyglass in California is probably my favorite. I've really enjoyed it. So I played it several years ago. I've walked Pebble. I've never played Pebble. And then anytime you're over in this area on this side of the country, people want to talk about Kiowa Island. So all that area over there is awesome too.
So when you're not on the course, I'm assuming you watch it on TV.
I watch a lot of golf. I do, but I have a lot of other hobbies too. So I love to fish. I love to be outdoors. I love to be playing with my boys. I have 3 boys, and we love to be outside.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned for what's coming up in Trojan Athletics right after this.